Paul Loga.
All right, welcome to episode 5 of the Donnell edition. Sitting down with a good friend of mine, Paul Loga, who is a mixed martial artist based in Brisbane. Paulie, good to see you, brother. How you been?
Good, bro. How are you?
Good, man. Good. Mate, mixed martial arts. It's massive consequences, obviously, in the cage. How did it come to be for you?
I used to play footy, and then I sort of got injured too much in footy, and I decided to jump on in the cage, which sort of seems fucking crazy, but I haven't had many injuries in fighting, and I've had a lot in footy, so it's going very well at the moment.
Yeah.
So, yep. But I started training with you boys at Aspley, I think,
yep.
Fitness, with James.
Yeah.
I sort of just stumbled on, went into a grappling comp, and all of a sudden, before I know it, I'm in a cage fighting 4 weeks later.
And how was the build? Obviously, yeah, we trained together, and then you kept going on. I left and went into the military and sort of gave it all away. But how did you maintain to stay motivated to get into the cage?
I don't know. It was a thrill. The first fight was awesome. Like, I ended up fighting at 68 kilos, I think. I fight at flyweight at the moment, which is like 56.7. I rolled into the weigh-in, bro, drinking a milkshake, I think. And the other dude was all in a sauna suit, all sweating, missed weight as well. And I didn't know what I was getting myself into until pretty much the bell rang. But then, no, it was just a thrill, eh? That's what motivates me. I really want to chase that high. Like most people say, it's a drug.
Yep.
And it really is. Winning and losing, the highs are high and the lows are shit ass. But you got to deal with both.
Yep. So you started in, obviously, your amateur career, then you went pro. Is that right?
Yes, yeah. I had 7 amateur fights, and my last amateur one, I won the XFC Flyweight belt for the amateurs. And then that's when I ended up turning pro, because at the time there weren't many people fighting, especially that such a small weight div.
Yeah.
You know? So once you win like a belt, they're like, oh, no one wants to fight, and then your next step is pro. Even though I probably wasn't ready, you got to jump in and do it anyway if you want to fight. So yeah. I've never thrown an elbow in my life, and probably till my first training camp for a professional fight, and then next thing you know, elbows are my next best thing. I don't even know how they got there, but yeah, just pulling them out my ass.
Yeah. And how was that first training camp for you? Was it a bit of an eye opener going from amateur to pro?
Well, obviously the amateur fights are 3-minute rounds, and pros are 5. Yep. So that 2 minutes, even though it doesn't sound like it's long, it's a long time to be fighting. And I guess just the long rounds, more intensity, more on the line. You obviously start getting paid as well when you're a pro, even though it's not much, especially the first fight. I think I got paid $200 to go and fight. And I ended up getting sick before that fight. I had influenza 2 weeks out, had to cut weight, had a terrible weight cut, rolled in, still fought, lost a split decision, and the dude I fought is actually now one of my training partners.
Oh, right. Wow. So, there you go.
Yeah, so he might have beat me that night, but I get to beat him up at the end, so it's fun.
And how do you perform, or how do you control your nerves and under pressure?
You got to not think about what could happen, but sort of just live in the moment, you know? If you start thinking, I'm going to do this instead of this, or he's going to do this instead of this, that's when everything's going to get too much, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can't be thinking of things that are out of your control, you know? You might get knocked out, you might not, that's just part of the game. You know, you might hurt yourself, you might not, but then you could go into training and hurt yourself as well. That's the way I try and think of it. You hurt yourself at training, you know, It's the same exact consequences. People are doing it for fun too. They're not even fighting, and they turn up and put on gloves and spar. And like, I probably would never do that if I wasn't fighting. I'd never put on a set of gloves and get punched in the head. But each to their own.
Yeah, yeah. And how is MMA scoring judged for those that are unsure?
So they do. I think it's cage control. Damage, I think. It's a 10-point must scoring system. It's the same as boxing, which is a bit weird because boxing, you can only use two hands, obviously, and MMA is wrestling, elbows, all the rest of it, punching and kicking.
Yeah.
So it's a bit weird. Like sometimes it doesn't, someone on the bottom could be doing more damage than the dude on top, but because they're on top, they're sort of seen more dominant.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit odd, but yeah, I don't know. I think they're trying to change the scoring system. Okay. I keep hearing about it. They're trying to change it and stuff like that, but I don't know. I guess it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
To change. Yeah.
And with your amateur career, have you had the same team progressing into your pro career?
So I started off with Grant Pritchard, and then he was training at Sassom's in the past, and he sort of, once he got to a point where he's like, I can't do too much for you now, he passed me on to Marcus Colemans at Sassom MMA, and he's been my head coach ever since. Head coach, manager, he sorts out all the purses, what fight I'm going to take, obviously always keeps me informed, but yeah, I've been with them, and when I started off, there was a couple of established pros there, but they've gone on to retire and, work commitments and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So now there's only a handful of us fighters there. And, so it's good. You get a lot of attention. It's not a massive gym.
Yeah.
He's made it very family friendly, You don't come in feel intimidated and whatnot, but the fighters train separate to the rest of the group, obviously.
Yeah, nice. Nice.
Yeah.
So do you still stay in contact with Grant, your first trainer?
Yeah, I was actually at his house this morning training. He got his black belt, 2 years ago, I think. So yeah, we're still message, talk, go to his house and train. He's got a full setup, mats and everything. He's still got the amateur belt that I won hanging up on his wall in the training room. So it's pretty cool. I always keep in contact. He'd done a lot for me, like without him, none of this would have been. He's the one that dragged me and said, "Do you want to fight?" And then before we know it, we were, over our heads. Yeah. Sorry, what was that?
No, so how did you find Grant from coming from obviously Aspley, the gym that we were at, and then went on? Like, how was that?
He was one of James's mates, the guy that was running.
Yeah.
And he'd come in and he used to roll with us and stuff like that. And me and him used to get into each other, talk shit. I think I subbed him once as a white belt and he never liked it and he beat the life out of me after that. But I kept coming at him and that's when he was like, "Have you ever thought of fighting?" So I was like, "Yeah, it sounds cool. Sounds cool on paper, but fighting out in the schoolyard or whatever is different to what we're doing." And I did not have an idea. I think my first fight, I threw an overhand right about 50 times. That's the only punch I knew.
And how expensive is the sport? Obviously, you've got a team now with coaches and stuff like that. How expensive is it?
Well, I work a full-time job. It's not my full-time job. I work as a concreter for Play Score. So I work all day and then I go in and train. So obviously gym fees, stuff like that. My coach actually doesn't take any cut out of my purse. None at all. Like he just lets me keep it all, even though I've offered. He says, "No, you're the one getting in there doing all the rest," which is, I don't know how many coaches would do that.
Yeah.
But like physio, stuff like that. Physio, obviously training gear. I got no sponsors either. I've always told the boys that I sponsor myself. So, sort of just little cost stuff like that. When we fight overseas, not overseas, sorry, interstate, the missus wants to come, you pay for her flights. Training partners want to come, you don't want them to pay out of their own pocket, so you sort of chip in with them. So, but stuff like that, yeah. It's, I guess it could be expensive if you didn't have a job and you're chasing it full time.
Yep.
But it's sort of not. Yeah, I can't do that because obviously I've got a mortgage to pay, got car payments.
Yeah.
And imagine if I was only a professional fighter at this time, there's no fights happening.
Yeah, exactly. And a typical fight week for you. So the entire week, right up until that bell goes and you're into it. Run us through that.
Well, I'm obviously going to cut weight, and lately it's been a lot more than I'd like. But I've got the fight dietitian. I think that every MMA fighter would know him. He does all the superstars, and he helps me out. He's a good mate of mine. So I get my program for him, which is done 8 weeks prior, and then there's a special fight week program that he does for me. So I'll start water loading, and I'll do my fasted cardios. I'll go to work. I'll do my job. I'll go into training. I'll hit pads lightly just to get a sweat going, all while water loading and stuff like that. And then that will go on probably from Sunday till Wednesday. And then Thursday will be my last day at work, and I will drink my last bit of water up to lunchtime. And then Friday's normally the weigh-in. So if I'm fighting, last time I fought interstate in Perth, I flew out. I cut weight before I got on the plane. I flew out at 8:30, I think. I arrived in Perth at 2. I slept for a couple of hours. I woke up and I cut the rest of the weight. And then off to the weigh-in. And then after that, he's got also a rehydration plan for me. So what I can drink, what I can't drink. It's always better when he's there. He makes these shapes. I don't know what he makes them out of, but they're delicious. He still won't tell me. But and we'll sort of go to like a Italian restaurant, like pizza, pasta, stuff like that. Once I put my fluids back in my body, and I'll stay up most of the night just eating, drinking, rehydrating, and I normally bounce back up to about 8 kilos heavier than weigh-in day.
Wow, 8 kilos.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, my last fight I rolled in I remember ringing him 6 weeks out, telling him I'm 72.5 kilos and I have to get down to 56.5, 56.7.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
It's crazy. He's good at his job. Though.
Yeah, I bet. How much of a mental battle is, obviously physically it's huge to cut weight, but mentally how do you do it? Like,
you got to prepare for yourself for it, especially the bad ones, like coming in and just knowing you know when you haven't followed your diet, you know when something's going to go not bad, because obviously your coaches, teammates, dietitians, they'll stop you before it gets to the point you're going to pass out. But and just like if you treat yourself, you fucked up well and truly before that weight cut happened. Because if you're not cutting weight, it's not coming off easily, you probably fuck something up. You know what I mean? So I always mentally prepare, because I hate cutting weight. I do not like it. Even if it's going well, I end up dry reaching for some odd reason. No one knows why. But I sort of you got to mentally prepare, get ready for it. Just expect the worst, and it normally plays out better. And obviously all the ways they got now to cut weight is a lot better than it used to be. Like 4 or 5 years ago, I'd sit in the sauna for hours in a sweatsuit trying to cut weight. Now we're doing a bathtub. They've got stuff, sweet sweat, all the stuff you put on yourself. Geordie's out there with his thermometer in the bathtub, makes sure the water's the right temperature. Beforehand you'd be boiling hot, and I'd be like, "Oh yeah, this is good." Jump in.
Oh, jeez, far out. And so, what do you walk around at, and then how much do you generally cut? What's a good cut for you?
So a good cut's about 3 to 4 kilos.
And a bad one?
That's a good one. A bad one, I think my worst one was about 7, and that was no fun. That was before Geordie as well, and I had a friend helping me, and it was horrible. I did pass out, and I'm pretty sure the missus walked in the house, and I passed out naked on the bed, and there was Epsom salts all over the floor, towels everywhere, and my mate didn't know what to do. Lost my voice, so I couldn't speak. Nearly fell off the scales, stuff like that. It's just, that's why I decided to go with Geordie, and ever since then it's been a lot better. There's none of that happening.
Yeah. And what are some of the barriers that you've had to overcome in the sport?
Not so much barriers, but I don't know. I think it's all mental, really. There's not really many hurdles. If you want to fight and you're winning, the opportunities always present themselves. But if you're doubting yourself, you see so many guys, they'll doubt themselves, and like they might be the best in the gym, but then they'll doubt themselves and they'll go out and they'll perform like shit. Yeah. So a lot of it's just, I think, mental hurdles, stuff like that. Obviously injuries, you got to work around work, because it's not sustainable to, fight full time in Australia. They don't pay us enough. Yeah. Nowhere near enough. Like if you've got a house, car, payments, you want to live comfortably, you'll be living below poverty line. pretty much, unless you are established pro that fights overseas.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's not many pros that I know of that, unless they own their gym or their PTs and stuff like that, which works out well for them. But there's not many pros that I know that just don't work and they train full time.
Yeah. And how was the climb to the XFC belt? How many did you have to win? And
that was actually a funny one. I lost to the guy I fought the fight prior, but it was on Eternal MMA, and that's mainly the show I fight on now. And as amateurs, he beat me up pretty good. 3 rounds, went to the decision. He flogged me up, and he was meant to go pro, and his opponent dropped out. And then they sort of said, oh, well, to entice him into it, they were like, we'll make it for our amateur belt, so you stick around in the amateur for one more fight, and you fight Paul Loga. And I ended up fighting him, and I ended up submitting him in the 4th round, I think it was, because the XFC title fight to 5 rounds. It was five 3-minute rounds. And I ended up beating him in the 4th round by a naked choke. And ever since then, I don't think he hasn't fought since. So I don't know what happened to him. I know he broke his hand in that fight, but I'm sure life got in the way, sort of thing. So
yeah. And how long is 3 minutes? Like a really, really long time. Obviously, when you sit there and look at your clock, it doesn't sound like that much. But when you're in the cage and you're going, is it painful sometimes to get through?
Yeah, it depends if you're winning. If you're the hammer or the nail. If you're the nail, it's a long, long time. When your corner yells out, minute and a half to go, you're like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
But it's not, now that I've turned pro and that extra 2 minutes, 3 minutes is nothing. Yeah. So that's what normally a kickboxing fight is, 3 minutes, because I do Muay Thai as well. So a 3-minute fight is now nothing, that we do 5 minutes. But it is, before I did the 5-minute rounds, 3 minutes is a very long time for me.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's why they do the 5 3-minute rounds, sort of to get you, it's 15 minutes all up, get you ready to sort of bounce into the pros.
Yeah. And what is your training regime? Obviously, you've just spoken about the week of fight week. What outside of that, are you doing anything in there
special? I'll train. I'll go to work 6 days a week most of the time, and I'll train every afternoon. Normally, training kicks off at 5, and that will be hitting pads from 5 till 6, and doing whatever else conditioning we got to do. And then from 6 till 6:45, we're drilling, and you get 15 minutes off. I'll go get changed into my grappling gear, and then we'll grapple. We'll do technique until about 7:30, and then from then on we'll live roll. I'll try and get 5 rounds in before I go home, eat, shower, get in bed, sleep, and then repeat it the next day.
So what's that, about 2.5 hours each day?
Yeah, I'd say 2.5. Yeah, but yeah, sometimes longer. Sometimes I won't get home till like 9:30. So sometimes if I'm feeling good, I'll stay and train longer. I'll roll longer and whatnot. Doesn't happen often during fight camp. You're normally feeling like shit. So
yeah. And how hard is it for you mentally to stay motivated? Obviously, you've got to be out in the sun all day concreting, and then you've got to go, all right, I've got to go get my gear and go to training now. And how do you cope with that?
Normally, it's hard when I don't have a fight. When I have a fight and I've got a goal in mind, I've got a name and a face I can think about.
Yeah.
I'm normally in there because I don't want to lose. I never want to lose. No one wants to lose.
Yeah.
I've been knocked out, submitted, stuff like that. It feels horrible. So that's sort of what motivates me now, to go to work, drive to training, train my ass off. And also the boys at training, it's fun to be around them, you know what I mean? Like, it's your outlet. Without it, it's like I go a little bit loopy. Like, especially now, all the gyms are shut. It's fucking driving me nuts. You know?
Yeah.
So, no, the boys definitely make it a lot easier as well. You know, your coaches, your training partners, you know, they talk shit. You know, like, get it all out your system. You know, go home exhausted and just crash out, and hopefully not think about the upcoming fight.
Yeah. And you recently, I watched an interview with yourself, and you recently took some time off. Why was that?
So I had last year March, I fought for the Eternal Flyweight belt against I think he was number one at the time. He's been beaten since. And then it's a grueling fight. I ended up getting stopped in the third. He smashed up my nose and cut me up pretty bad. And I thought, copped a couple of head knocks. And then after that, I took another fight a couple of months later. And I think I'll come back too soon. And now against the current number one Australian New Zealand flyweight. And I flew over to Perth. And he actually ended up clipping me with a left hook and knocking me out. And then that's when I was like, well, you can't be copping head knocks back to back like that. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I took a bit of time away, thought to myself, do I really want to do this? Because after that last KO loss, I thought, I don't want to do this. I went in the back in tears into the corner. I said, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm done. And then my Geordie was in the back, a couple of my teammates were in the back. They told me, chill out, we'll have a couple of beers. I ate a pizza. We got on a plane, flew back to Brisbane. A week or two later, I was like, nah, I do want to do this. So I did take a bit of time away, got a bit fat, ate what I wanted, trained like not to compete, but trained just like I used to. Like when we used to train, just for fun.
Yeah.
Just roll because you want to roll, because you want to learn,
Yeah.
And went back to that. And then when I was ready to fight, my coach sort of said, do you want to fight? I said, not yet. And then when I was ready, he put me in, and it was probably my best performance to date. My last one as well. I think the long break did help, just get me out of that slump, because I was in a bad slump after that KO loss. Yeah. It was just like, what is the point?
Yeah. So mentally, you were fighting a bit of a battle.
Like internally, you come home and you just sort of that fight. I think I watched it like 50 times on the plane before I even got home. It was just shit, like. It was going so well, and then it wasn't.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, did I come back too quick? Am I made for this? Am I cut out for this? All those shitty questions that come in, doubt, 2-fight losing streak, and then everyone starts thinking, oh, he's nothing. You know what I mean? And then I sort of that last fight, I come out with a chip on my shoulder. I wanted to prove to him that I can still compete with the best in Australia, and I'd love to rematch both those dudes, because I won a concussion and won a fucking broken nose, and I'd love to hand that shit back.
Yeah, I bet, man. It's crazy. It's crazy to think that we were just, a couple of years ago, we were rolling around on a gym floor, practicing the most amateur jiu-jitsu there is, and then you've carried on, and you've obviously won a title in the amateur career, then you've progressed into the pro side. Mate, it's massive, obviously, to sit there. I've been watching the career, as you've gone through, and when you first signed and fought that first fight, I was like, this guy was going after it. Like, that's cool. You've obviously got the title and that, and progressed into pro stuff. So, mate, it's I couldn't imagine. Like, obviously, I did think about dabbling in it, but then I just. But I don't think I could bring myself to do it. Like, it's a crazy, crazy sport.
Yeah, it is a shit. It's a good sport, but it's a shit sport. I never understand. Say if I have kids, I'd never say, yeah, go do MMA. It's fucking terrible. Just even boxing, any combat sport, they really don't. I don't know. I guess it's good character building.
Yeah.
It will teach you life lessons the hard way. Nothing's too hard now, complicated, like people want to argue, especially with all the shit happening in the world right now. People want to argue and shit and fucking try and fight you in the street, in the valley. It teaches you lessons like that. Like, what is the point? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But apart from that, like physically, I think you see a lot of older boxers, or not so much MMA fighters, because there's so much grappling and whatnot involved, but like slurring their words when they're older. Sort of like that. Their heads look like smashed potatoes, but you wouldn't want. It'd be hard to watch. Even the friends do it. I hate watching my friends fight. I get more nervous and sweaty palms and shit watching them fight.
Yeah. And how many cornermen do you have when you go over interstate?
They normally pay for the one coach, the head coach, and yourself to fly over.
Okay.
But normally, like I said, my training partners, I never ask them to, but they're always the ones booking their first flights out to Perth, to Adelaide, wherever I go, they're always there, and I fucking appreciate them. I really do. You know, you don't get, you know, some gyms are massive, but you don't get that sort of support. Like these boys really do care. They care what happens to you. And so does the head coach. He'd do anything for you. You know what I mean? Like, you lose, it feels like he's lost. You win, it feels like he's won. And it's vice versa. I'll do anything for them. So it's sort of like a good family feel, you know. They started off as training partners, but ended up as brothers. So.
Yeah. And have you got any mentors in the gym?
Yeah, I got my mate. He's a little bit older, not too much older. He's 32, 33. Super talented. His name's Michael Gaffey. And he's pretty much my striking coach, I'd say. Because he's a genius. Anything he watches, he picks up, he brings it. I don't watch any fights. I don't watch any of my opponents. He watches everything for me. He'll study them, tell me what technique's going to work and what are not. Don't do this, don't do that. Stop going crazy while you're sparring. You've got a fight coming up, shit like that. You know? Or if I got, you know, I'm having a shit day at work, I'll ring him on the way home and I'll just talk shit to him, talk all day, and then we go to train and, you know, get it all out. And then good thing is, if we annoy each other, we get to punch each other too. So.
Yeah. And how, I guess, what's the, have you got any dreams? Are you chasing anything in your mixed martial arts career?
Well, I want to fight over in Japan. I reckon it'd be awesome. I reckon it'd be the best field in the walk out there. They got massive crowds. They respect the little dudes. Over here, everyone thinks, oh, fucking flyweight. You know what I mean? Like little dudes can't not. Everyone's like got this thing in their head that flyweights are small, so they're boring. Even though I'd much rather watch a smaller weight than a fucking big fat heavyweight try and sling it out for a minute and get gassed out and fall over.
Yeah.
You know? But over in Japan, they seem that they respect them. And I was actually going to do, I think they called Gamma or something like that. Okay. It's like a tournament over in Canberra. And to fight, if you win that, you fight an Australian team and they fly you, I don't know where they fly you, somewhere overseas to fight in a tournament against all the other worlds. And whoever wins gold in the weight division would get a contract with ONE FC, which is a Asian promotion. So that's what I wanted to do, and that was meant to be in April, but obviously old coronavirus come in and fucked all my plans up. So
yeah.
That's what I was aiming for.
Yeah. Any UFC dreams?
No, not really. Yeah, maybe at the start I was like, yeah, how cool would the UFC be? But the more I hear about people whinging about the UFC, you know, like
I've seen that. I've seen a little bit of it.
Yeah, like what the fuck are they doing to their fighters for a whole lot of them to be whinging like that? If you're not at the top, you're getting treated like shit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think, unless they're fighting and get hurt, you're not covered. Even though they, you know, like if you fight and you get hurt, then they'll pay for your surgery. But prior to that,
right,
they won't. You know what I mean? Like in your training camp or whatnot.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how it goes, but yeah, I'm hearing a lot of fucking whinging, and yeah, I don't know, it just seems like a bit of a dick move for a multi-billion-dollar company. So.
Yeah. And what is life like as an athlete for yourself? Can you sum it up?
Hectic, crazy. I wish I was a full-time athlete. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Working and training, some days are just a fucking drag, eh?
Yep.
They just drag on. But I don't know. I enjoy it. It keeps me busy. Life's busy. That's what I'd say. Life is busy and it's fun.
Yeah. And post career aspirations, have you got anything that you're working on now for the future to set you up, or?
No, not really. You know, once I'm done fighting, I've told myself I'll fight till 32, but now that coronavirus come in, I'm going to extend that another year. I'm going to fight till 33.
Yep.
So that gives me another 3 years,
yep.
3 years and a bit. So once I'm done fighting, I'll probably help around in the gym. I like teaching kids.
Yeah.
Teaching kids and stuff like that. Yeah, it's fun. I only help. I'll still do my job. You know, it pays the bills, but I wouldn't mind going in every now and again and helping out, and you know, just watching the younger guys come through and beat each other up. I don't think I'll ever lace up a set of gloves once I'm done, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. Once I'm done, there's no point to getting punched in the head. That's why I don't get my coach. My coach, Marcus, he will lace those gloves up and he will go to war with you in that cage to get you ready. And I never get it. I guess he's just cut from a different cloth than me.
Oh man, yeah, I bet. That's it's an interesting sport, man. Old mixed martial arts. It's and it's funny because you hear people say, "Oh, do you fight UFC?" Like it's not,
Yeah.
you know, you're a mixed martial artist. It's like, oh no, you're a UFC guy. It's weird. It's a weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different thing.
Yeah. It's fucking, yeah. People are, some people are stupid, eh? I think some people get into it just to post up the photo on Instagram or Facebook or something like that to make them look cool. But
yeah,
it's not going to look cool when you go out there and get your head kicked in.
Yeah, yeah. And what's your least favorite fight that you've been in?
Least favorite one, probably it was on XFC. I would say it was a Tim Moore one. He sort of knew he was going to wrestle fuck me, and he did it anyway, even though I prepared for it. I did go in with it with an injury, but he just fucking dominated me. It was actually a wake up call. You know, he was actually at that time he was the current number 2 in Australia. I fought some fights that I really shouldn't have been fighting at the time. You know, just saying, yeah, okay, I'll fight him. But yeah, he ended up, I think, getting me with a toe hold in the third round again. Third round thing, wasn't it? But yeah, he ended up getting me in a toe hold and beating me. He's actually retired now. Top bloke, but that would be my worst one for sure.
Yeah.
I barely threw any punches, any kicks. Sort of just let him have his way with me, you know? He was just shit. It was just a shit feeling. Walking out, I didn't want to walk out.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like there's nothing worse than being in that back warming up and just thinking, I don't really want to be here tonight.
Yeah.
But it's too late.
What goes through your head? How do you maintain? I guess are you aggressive with your thought process when you're getting your knuckles taped up and everything like that? Like, are you like, man, I'm gonna rip this dude? You know what I mean? Like, what is it for you?
Yeah, you're gonna laugh at this because normally when I'm getting my hands wrapped, I'm listening to country music and shit like that, or Johnny Cash, mate. It's fucking hilarious.
Really?
My coach is, yeah, what are you listening to? And I give him the thing, and he's like, oh, yeah. And my training partners, they're into like heavy metal. They never get it. And I watch Disney movies, bro, before I leave the room to go to fight. I watch shit like How to Train a Dragon, shit like that. I don't know, just chill out.
Yep.
Nothing to do with fighting, bro. Like, I think the last fight before I walked out, I was listening to Take Me Home. I forget who the guy was singing it, but I think it was a fucking country song. You know, and I don't realise how loud my speakers are, or my headphones are. And they end up blaring through the whole fucking locker room, bro. But yeah, I try not to be, I don't know, too aggressive. Because if you fight in the back room before you even walk out, you will be exhausted. Because your thoughts will get you exhausted, you know.
Yep.
You've got adrenaline pumping through your body. You're about to go and fist fight someone that's in a steel cage.
Yep.
And, you know, yeah, you'll just get tired. So I try and stay as calm as I can. I used to try and get psyched up, but not anymore. It's too late. You're gonna get in there. You're gonna fight either way. You know?
Yeah.
That's why I'll be nice. I'll be nice to my opponent all the way up to we touch gloves and we're ready to fight.
Yeah.
Because there's no point being mean to them or trying to be a dick or intimidate them. Because normally, if you turn professional and you've had more than, I don't know, what have I had, 11 fights, you're probably not going to be scared of the dude standing across from you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're ready to do whatever. They're going to hurt you, you're going to hurt them, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. And
not too many. Yeah.
And what's your favorite fight that you've been in?
It was on XFC again. Greg Penalizer. There's actually 2. The Shannon Ross one for Eternal MMA, and which I ended up losing. That was for the vacant Australian title. And the Greg Penalizer one, I was coming off a knee injury, and I think he was coming off a 2-year layoff. So it was actually a really good matchup for both of us. And we threw down, and he was fucking excellent. You know, he's a zombie. He would not go away.
Yeah.
I think I dropped him 4 times, and he just kept on coming. And even at one stage, I was hitting him, and he had his hands up in the air, looking at me. I'm like, "What the fuck is this dude made of?" You know, I actually have a lot of respect for him. Awesome dude. He coaches at Integrated MMA as well. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And anytime I see him, he's been nothing but nice to me. Him and his whole team. You know what I mean? Like, you earn their respect in the cage, and it carries on outside the cage. It doesn't matter if you win, lose, draw, whatever. You got to respect the other person standing across the cage from you, because we're all chasing the same fucking thing.
Yeah, yeah. And what jiu-jitsu belt have you got now?
I got promoted to purple belt about two years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago, maybe 3 even. But I've stopped wearing the gi because I don't know. I think gi, I'm fighting MMA. No-gi and wrestling are important.
Yeah.
So I've sort of just cut out gi altogether, and I've told myself I'll do the gi when I'm not training for fights.
Yeah.
Sort of thing like that. My coach hates it. He wants me to do the gi. He reckons it's important.
Yeah.
And I always tell him I'll do it, but I always sneak off. I always manage to find a way at the gym. But, like, we train after sparring on Wednesday is a gi session. The last thing you want to do after having hard sparring rounds leading into a fight is put on a gi and roll with a bunch of fresh dudes waiting for you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And the other session's on a Monday, and we got Mondays is wrestling with Coach Simmons, which is from the States, and his wrestling sessions can be quite brutal. And the last thing I want to do is put on a gi and fucking grapple after those sort of sessions, you know? So I think he understands slowly.
Yeah. And is it intimidating going to Perth and fighting interstate?
The first one, I don't know, it felt weird, It's such a long flight too. 5.5 hours to get somewhere in Australia is crazy. But it's not intimidating so much, but it's just, I don't know, it felt weird. Especially the first one. It felt weird. It was the second time I fought interstate, and just had a weird feel about it. You know, there wasn't much. I don't think the show was touring too well, and we were the main event. And we walked out, and it was very quiet. I remember I walked out first. It was very quiet. I think I had my girlfriend and a couple of teammates up in the crowd cheering for me.
Yeah.
And then the home guy walks out, and he's got this weird song. He still walks out to it. It's really creepy song. It just creeps you out. Even my teammate was like, "That's a fucking creepy song," and freaks you out. And he looks so unassuming. And I knew this about him, but he's super talented. Obviously, he holds the eternal belt at the moment.
Okay.
And he comes out, and he's just sort of calm, like he's not even in a fight. And he's sort of taken my shot, took some of my best shots, and he kept walking forward. And then, hit me with that left hook that put me down. And probably the worst thing is you can't just go home and sleep in your own bed. You know, you're in a hotel room.
Yeah.
You know, still got to go get dinner. You still got to get up early and catch a flight. Like our flight's at 7 o'clock in the morning. You know, straight after a fight. I don't think we got home till like 3 o'clock in the morning. So it's just that sort of things that make it uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's always better fighting at home, obviously.
Yeah. Where do you fight in Brizzy?
It's not even in Brizzy. I used to fight at the Mansell Tavern when I was fighting for XFC, but now I mainly fight for Eternal MMA, mainly because I think Cam and Ben, the guys that run it, they're fucking quite cool dudes, and they always look after their fighters. So I've sort of put my loyalties with them, and they've always looked after me. You know, they respect me. Every time I see them, they remember my girlfriend's name, my coach's name. Yeah. How are you? Sort of, you know.
Yeah.
They seem more like I don't know. They care more rather than give me the tickets you sold and fucking how many tickets did you sell? Shit like that. You know, they actually care about. I think they care about the fighter more than other promoters. So I've stuck with them, and I fight down their shows are down the Gold Coast. They do Gold Coast. They do at Southport Sharks. They do New Zealand now. They do Perth, and they do Melbourne. So they're expanding, and they're all on UFC Fight Pass. So they're expanding quite big, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So do you have to sell your own tickets?
So you get your purse, your set purse, and then if you sell tickets, you get a certain percentage from those tickets.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like you might get $10 a ticket, or sell a VIP table, you get $200 a VIP table.
Okay.
It's just sort of extra cash, and it gives the fighters incentive to sell tickets.
Yeah.
But I've had promoters, I'm not going to say who or what show, but I have told them to fuck off personally.
Yeah.
And, you know, like I fought 4 weeks prior, and then you roll in and fight for them on the Sunday after my first fight. The fight poster was up for my next one 4 weeks later, you know, and I was like, oh, okay. And, you know, all your tickets are expensive. They're not cheap.
Yeah.
Your mates come, and I don't think I sold enough tickets for them. I think it was 20 standing tickets or something like that.
Yeah.
And they sort of had a whinge about that, even though I put on a good performance and won. I had a whinge, so I just sort of told them to fuck off. So ever since then, I haven't fought back on that show. So
yeah,
I'm sure if they hear this, they'll know who I'm talking
about. No, fair enough. Awesome, brother. Man, I think that pretty much wraps it up, man.
Awesome, bro. That was a lot better than I thought.
Yeah, man. No,
I thought I was going to stutter and shit. It was a lot better.
No, man. It's awesome to chat to you, bro. It's been a long time since we've actually caught up. I think last time I bumped into you was down at Howard Smith Wolves. I was with the wife and that, sort of crossing paths. But man, as I said earlier, you know, it's been incredible to sit back and watch your career, even though I haven't had an opportunity to get to any of your fights. Like, it's just been cool to see you progress and you know, stay on the motivated path to fight in mixed martial arts. It's pretty cool to say, oh, you know, I've got a mate that throws down in the cage. So it's good stuff.
Awesome, bro. Thanks, bro. Next time I'm fighting in Brisbane or the Gold Coast, I'll be sure to get you a ticket.
Yeah, man, for sure. That'd be awesome. That'd be cool.
Bro. No dramas, my bro.
Awesome, man. All right, bro. I think that'll do us. Thanks very much.
Awesome, bro. All good. Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you so much for tuning into the latest episode with Paulie. Really, really great guy. Really great to catch up with him. If you enjoyed that episode, please make sure to leave a review anywhere you can. Also, be sure to follow along on all major social media, so Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Just simply search the Donnell Edition. Next Sunday, I'll sit down with Hockey Roo number 484. She plays the position of goalkeeper. It is Jocelyn Bartram. She's a veteran of the sport, played 50 games for Australia, and is doing some magnificent things at grassroots level. We unpack her career and her journey to being a Hockey Roo. So that's a really, really interesting chat. Hopefully you can join us next Sunday at 3 p.m. Have a fantastic week, and I'll see you then.